Hey guys, what's going on? A Button Games here, back on Diablo 3. It's been a while. I'm recovering from being sick. My voice was absolutely shot, and there's no way in hell I was going to be able to record videos for the last 3 to 4 days. So now that I'm feeling a lot better, we'll get back into it. I got a whole bunch of videos sort of coming this way. Got some Diablo, got some Let It Die, gonna get some Call of Duty in there, gonna get another episode of Raft up there. So we're gonna be working hard here. We're gonna be working hard on this channel, even though it doesn't really seem to be paying off very well since YouTube made their stupid changes. But that's for another thing. So basically what I want to talk to you guys about today is what your guys' opinion are on how Diablo 3 in particular is increasing their difficulty levels. So I'm feeling like one of the oh, there's my little cow, by the way. For those of you who don't know how to get this, feel free to look at my other video. Although I don't know if you still can because the anniversary thing might be over. Might actually still be on for another few days. But anyway, what I'm thinking is happening in this game is they're starting to show their weakness of the system that they put in place, which is kind of without the base stats really mattering in this game. Like with no build, there's no skill points, there's no builds really. Everything just kind of comes down to the equipment that you have. I feel like this game is starting to show signs of the weakness in that. And what I mean is when they increase the difficulty of this game, basically all they're doing is they're adding Torment 12 or whatever the hell they're adding, right? You know what I mean? Not that that's bad in the game, but just use that as an example. It used to max out at Torment 10. And then what they did is they added in these new torments. And then what they did from there is they just went in and they kind of upped the effects on legendary items and set items. So instead of, you know, sometimes they introduce new sets, but really most people don't use any of those new sets. Everyone just uses the original sets anyways for the most part. They up the effects on the sets to kind of cancel out the increase in difficulty, but you have to farm all the equipment again. So it's a really weird way to do it in my opinion, because, you know, in the old Diablo games, once you got your equipment, you know, there was no chance that they were going to go back in and just completely change it to remake you get all that equipment, because that was like the whole point of Diablo or Diablo 2 really, was to, okay, get your equipment, get your set, and then you need to build your character correctly with the right stats and the right skills and stuff like that, to kind of tailor it the way you want to play. But this game, every class has all their skills regardless, and so what all they're doing is they're just kind of increasing the effects on certain items and stuff like that. And it just, I don't know, it seems weird, because basically what it does is once you have your build that you're working on, they increase the difficulty. You know, you don't really have to worry about experimenting, and maybe you need to find a new build now because the way the game's changed. Not really. For the most part, you just need to re-get all the same piece of equipment that you currently have on, just now with the higher stat or the higher effects. Some effects require you to re-get the equipment, some don't. And then from there, you're basically good to go. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like in a way they're trying to save people time, but also in a way it's kind of like discerning, because it just seems like, to what end are we going to get at, right? They're not really introducing a lot of new items in this game. I feel like they're at a point now where they kind of have the characters established in a way that, you know, they know most people are going to want to use this character in this way, so they're not really introducing any other sets to kind of allow people to experiment maybe with a completely different type of thing for this character, but not this character specifically, just characters in general. And so, like, to what end do we have to do this, where they're just going to, you know, okay, now we're going to increase the difficulty, you know, and introduce a new torment, but as a side, all of your equipment is going to be a little bit stronger if you can get to it, so you don't really have to change the way you're playing the game. So, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. It makes it seem like that. So, because they're not forcing you to change the way you're playing the game, I feel like it kind of kills some of the end game, like, playability, really, because it doesn't really force people to use different sets. Now, that being said, of course, everyone has multiple sets in their class that they can switch to, and because there's no builds in this game per se, like skill points or anything, it makes it a lot easier to switch between sets, because then you just need the equipment, really, and you don't have to worry about, oh shit, I'm not spec'd right for this. You can reset Paragon anytime and stuff like that, so that helps in allowing you to switch between sets a lot quicker. But at the same time, they're not really making substantial changes to all of the sets to really encourage that type of gameplay. They're really just focusing on the more popular sets that everyone's using, and they're doing minor tweaks to all the sets, but nothing that would ever make me change my exploding palm build here, because, I mean, it's just ridiculous. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of my opinion. I don't know why I dropped a legendary there instead of, like, a regular item. That's okay. That's kind of, like, my opinion on the situation, in that, like, it just worries me to what end are they going to be able to keep this up, where instead of just creating all new material, they're pretty much just increasing difficulty, increasing the amount of damage enemies do, same enemies, increasing the damage that they do, increase the damage that you take, but then also increasing the effects of your set items. And, you know, the most notable one would be, like, for me at least, would be like the Marauder. The Hunter, they basically just change the amount of damage each sentry gives you, and now you just do a shit ton of damage. But it basically cancels out with the higher difficulty levels anyway, so, again, it doesn't really... It's like you get super strong, but it's not like you're super strong and now you could go through all the content because they increase the difficulty, and it's now just as difficult as it was with the old set. So you don't really feel like you're gaining anything, if that makes sense. You know, obviously you gain a lot when there's a huge difference between Paragon level 400 and Paragon level 2000 or whatever. You know, there's a huge difference there, but that's always been around. So it makes sense what they have to do, but I feel like it kind of shows the weaknesses a little bit. And hopefully they come out with something a little bit more clever for when they introduce the Necromancer with their next big expansion that's coming out. I don't really know what else they can do at this point, just because the way the game is set up, it doesn't really allow for other things like that. But, you know, I feel like they're going to have to somehow make either like a fundamental change, or they're going to have to introduce an entire new mechanic as it is. And I know Blizzard's really good at that, so... You know, you don't want to just, like, write it off too early, but it just worries me that, you know, the Necromancer comes out, maybe they increase the level cap again, which means hopefully they'll introduce all new sets and stuff, but what I don't want to happen is, okay, they increase the level cap to maybe 80 or 70, I don't even know what the fuck the level cap is right now. I think it's 70, right? I don't know, it's been so long since I've actually seen the level of your character, because the Paragon thing down there, but, you'll say they increase it by 10. Are they just going to keep the same sets, and now... you just want the level 80 version or the level 70 version in order to compete, but it's literally the same builds. You know, you don't have to really change the way you play too much, and that's kind of what I wish that they would get away from. You know, I wish that they would, you know, they have the set dungeons, which are tailored to using a specific set, and in a way, those kind of suck sometimes because a lot of the things you have to do in the set dungeons don't really pertain to the sets, but I think the idea of the set dungeon is a really, really good one, and that it kind of forces you to use another build if you want to complete all the set dungeons. I would love to see more specific things tailored to that. You know, more special enemies that are maybe immune to certain things and stuff, and it would kind of force you to use a different build, or you just couldn't do it. And, you know, that might piss a lot of people off. It's like, oh, I spent all this time doing this build, and now I can't even do this. But at the same time, it's like, there's so much more to this game that they don't encourage people to do because, you know, there's no reason, right? There's so many other sets for this monk. And I'm sure there are other sets that might make me just as strong, or maybe a little bit stronger, but I don't feel the need to go out of my way to spend all that time kind of building and perfecting another set when I already have this one, and it does well in my opinion. I mean, you know, I could get really high in Greater Rifts and stuff now, and no problem with Max Torment or anything, so there's nothing in here that really encourages the use of all this content that they might be adding, or that, you know, it just seems like a lot of stuff can go unused in this game, and I don't know, I just wish that they encouraged it more, you know what I mean? I wish that there was a reason for me to spend more time and effort on getting the other sets for my other classes or for this class, as opposed to just, well, if I feel like getting it, I can get it. But we were just like talking about this last time and how they kind of simplified the game in a way to make it, you know, easier for people who don't have all the time that they used to have when the original Diablo games are out. Totally get that, totally understand it, but at the same time, they add all of this content into this game, and there's nothing really that encourages me to try it out, right? I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I kind of wanted to hear what some of your other opinions are about this type of stuff, just because it is rather interesting to me to see what you guys think, to see how you guys feel about what they're doing, and in my opinion, like the way that they're updating the game to sort of make it you know, more difficult, but at the same time, they're just kind of increasing the same stuff every time. They're upping torment level, and then at the same token, they're scaling your legendary equipment or your set items to kind of cancel out. And, you know, to what end are they going to keep doing this? What's next? What do you guys hope that they make the change to? What new mechanic do you think that they could introduce to kind of make that difference, make it, you know, encourage me to go out and spend my blood shards or to go greater rifting for the other sets, as opposed to just trying to perfect this one set every time they increase the torment? Instead of me going to look for another set, all I'm doing is just trying to re-get all the items that I currently already have, because they increased those anyway. So I don't know. It's kind of like just a rant video in the background. We were doing a rift or something like that. I kind of just want to know what you guys think about that. And hopefully, you know, some of you guys have some better ideas than I do. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there is more to it, and I'm just kind of an idiot like I am sometimes. So definitely let me know, guys. And thanks so much for watching. If you liked it, drop a like on the video. Feel free to subscribe if you're new. Check out all my other Diablo videos. I got a host of help videos and walkthrough videos, stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think. And until next time, see ya!